buying websites for sale from well-known marketplaces like Flippa.com and the Digital Point Forum is an obvious first step, but there are ways to buy websites for sale that nobody else even knows about. And the advantage of buying sites privately is that you avoid competition from other buyers. And while that doesn't always mean you'll get a screaming deal, it does mean that you'll at least get the first crack at that website. Now, let me draw an example for you. Let's say you contact a seller and they have a website for sale and they're offering it for $10,000. Now, that's not exactly a screaming deal, well, I guess depending on your situation, but if it's a site that is in fact worth $10,000 or more, it is what it is. But by buying it privately, the advantage is you're at least getting a crack at it. Contrast that experience with a scenario at Flippa. That same website lists on Flippa, and it goes on the market for $1, let's say starting bid with no reserve. Now in that scenario, again, if this is truly a website worth $10,000, there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of buyers following that website or seeing that website at least, and the competition is going to be crazy, and chances are that website's going to sell for more than $10,000. And if the buyer puts a buy it now price of $10,000, it's very likely that thing is going to get snatched up incredibly quickly. So you'll have to be incredibly fast on the draw to get it, as there's going to be lots of competition. But again, if you're doing this privately, you don't have to worry about all that. If it's a $10,000 site and that's what it's worth, and you're the only buyer at the table, at least you're getting a chance at it, and you're not having to compete against a bunch of buyers. So how do you find these private opportunities? Well, like my father used to tell me, it's not what you know, it's who you know. It's all about networking. But the whole idea of networking with other buyers and sellers is kind of beyond the scope of this video. But what I'm going to show you here is a very quick and easy way that you can go about uncovering websites that may be available for sale privately. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to head over to Flippa.com. Now, I've already pulled up a listing, but what you're looking for is you're looking for high-quality websites sold by reputable professional sellers. And the reason that is because, obviously, I'm not interested, you're not interested in buying crappy websites from sellers that, may be a little bit on the shady side, especially if we're doing a private transaction, right? So we want to conduct our search as usual. We're looking for high-quality sites sold by, reputable professional sellers that we can trust. And what we're looking for, though, is as we look through these listings, is we're going to be looking through the descriptions, and we're looking for an indication that the seller has other websites available for sale. And typically, you're going to find that in the part of the listing where they're explaining why they're selling. And they're usually going to say things like, I've got way too many websites to manage, or I've got, way more websites than I'm ever going to be able to do anything with, so I'm going to be selling them soon, or I have a medical emergency, I need cash immediately, so I'm selling off some of my websites. Whatever it is, you're just looking for some indication that they've got more websites available for sale other than the one you're reading about. So let me go to this one here that I pulled up. Now again, this one has already sold. Again, I'm recommending you start with sites that are actually available, but I wanted to pull this up because it demonstrates what I'm looking for. We go through here and I'm looking, I'm reading, and it says right here, why are we selling this website? We have far too many websites and don't have the time to grow and manage them all. That's real obvious. Let's go to another one here. Again, this is another one that's sold. If we go down here, he mentions right here, so I must raise as much cash as soon as possible. I will be selling most of my online businesses soon. And here's another one. We go down here. Why am I selling? I'm starting on some new projects, and I have a lot of small niche sites like this that would be better utilized by someone who can give it some personal attention. So here we have 3 sellers that have made it real obvious to us that they have other websites available for sale, even though they don't have them publicly listed, or at least not listed on Flippa. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be contacting these sellers, going through the private message system at Flippa, clicking on this link here, send PM private message to the seller. But before we do that, I'm going to check his user profile to make sure that he doesn't in fact have all of his other websites available for sale. We don't want to contact these sellers and say, hey, you know, I hear you might have some other websites for sale, and then only to have them reply, yeah, bonehead, I've got them all listed on Flippa, you know, didn't you do your research, right? So check that first to make sure they don't already have all the other websites available for sale. Now this guy, the seller doesn't have his other websites for sale, so this is a prime target. Then what we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to send these sellers a message. And the message is going to be very simple. Here's an example of a message, a typical message that I'll send. Hello, my name is Travis Van Sluten. I'm a regular here at Flippa as a buyer and seller of websites. I was looking at your iPhone app's website for sale. While it doesn't fit my portfolio of websites, I noticed you mentioned in your listing that you'll have more websites for sale. Can I ask you what those websites are, as I may be interested? If you'd rather wait until you actually list them, I completely understand. And if that's the case, can I ask you what niches they're in and when you'll be listing them? Thanks, Travis Van Sluten. Now, I hope there's a lot of things going on with that message, but the main thing is I tailor each message to these sellers to their situation. In other words, I'm not cutting and pasting messages. I'm not spamming these sellers. These are genuine personal messages tailored around, you know, whatever they give me in their listing description. And what I'm also doing, though, is I'm giving them the courtesy of saying, hey, look, I understand if you don't want to sell privately, you want to go on the public market to, you know, hopefully get more for your site than you might get selling privately. That's totally cool, but can you tell me what niches and when you'll be listing? Now, every time I've done this technique, I've gotten a positive reply. The seller will either tell me, will give me a list of websites they're going to be listing and what they want for them, which is, you know, that's like a gold mine. Or they'll tell me, you know, I've got a couple websites in the weight loss niche that I'm going to be putting up on Flippa next week, so keep an eye out for them. Well, even if I get that message, I get a leg up on my competition, because then I can put that seller on my Flippa seller watch list, and I can monitor that daily, and as soon as I see his listings, I can be the first to bid or be the first to grab it through the buy it now option, okay? So either way, this technique is going to be very powerful in helping you uncover private sales. And what you can also do, though, is you can also go to Flippa, and let's go here to Flippa, and you can do this by looking through the listings in the just sold category or the ended unsold category, and dig through websites that way, just like I've done here. Obviously, this is a site that is sold, so this is a seller that you could actually contact. And again, the only difference is you'll want to make sure you tailor your message to let that seller know how you found out about them. And in this case, you'd say, you know, I was going through websites that have sold, and I noticed you sold your weightlosscamsandreviews.com website, as would be the example here. And I was wondering if you had other websites available for sale, you know, that type of message, okay? But I can guarantee you that if you do this technique, you're going to uncover private sales that's going to obviously not only give you a leg up on your competition, but going to give you an opportunity to buy websites that you wouldn't otherwise have.